Number 3.
I'm sorry, little boy, but this is it. The end of the line for you. But before that happens, you'll have to apologize for all the mischief you've caused. Isn't that right? Now you're gonna kneel before me and beg forgiveness.
You're pretty funny.
I said kneel!
Balalaika from Black Lagoon.
Take a look at yourself now. A pathetic little brat who's beyond all repair. And like it or not, this is where you're gonna die.
Black Lagoon is a show filled with great characters, witty dialogue and pop culture references while taking a look at what would happen in a lawless territory in modern society. But you know what? Fuck that! Hot girls with big guns and explosions. Yes, after my earlier statement about a lack of strong female leads in anime, Black Lagoon is not only the exception to this rule, but the fucking benchmark of strong chicks in anime. Since every woman in the series is so tough, trigger happy and just fucking mental, that they might as well have just renamed the show Bitches Be Crazy.
You fucking bastard!
Bitches be crazy. I mean, for fuck's sake, where else can you see nuns grasping golden desert eagles, the Maid Terminator, and before I forget, crazy killer incestuous motherfucking vampire twins? So with this show filled with wild gun-toting chicks raining down from the sky in addition to a professional black man, you'd think that it would be hard to single out a character that stands out above the rest. But if anyone manages it, it's Balalaika. Throughout all the crazy-ass females, no one, not even the main insane trigger-happy female lead Revi, can touch Balalaika in terms of status, superiority, and love of violence. Because while the rest of the girls feel like young, rash, hot-headed criminals who solve everything by putting a bullet through it, Balalaika feels more like the experienced veteran who's been through all that and can keep herself calm when she needs to. But you know that underneath all that there's just a nuclear bomb waiting to detonate. And this definitely shows in the way that even with all these psychotic people running around, she manages to generate a mixture of fear and respect from all these outlaws. As the leader of Hotel Moscow, she spent her time growing up on the front lines in the war zone of Afghanistan. With the guidance of her leadership and tactics, her comrades became unstoppable killing machines, gathering the skills and experience of real war. Years later, she returned from that hellhole of a battlefield with her soldiers to found the Russian gangster group that is now known as Hotel Moscow, where her immediate subordinates have enough training and firepower to fight and win World War III, all who are under the control of one Class A crazy bitch. Based in a fictional Thai city of Ranapur, woo, Thailand! A city full of prostitutes, drug lords and mafia bosses where illegal activity is the norm and is apparently accustomed to greet each other with a hail of bullets and explosions. She often at times acts as the peacemaker with all the violence breaking out, stopping the violence in the most tactical and intelligent way possible. More violence! As a combat officer, she's a skilled strategist and a well-rounded fighter, capable of taking care of herself despite the fact that all her subordinates seem to worry about her, and there's a great sense of camaraderie within her organisation. She can be easily identified by her burn marks which scar her face, neck and chest, earning her the name Fry Face by the people who dislike her. Though I'd like to see what happens to anyone who has the guts to call her that in front of her face, because in Soviet Russia, neck breaks you. I think. But what makes her so cool is that even though she has the skills and psyche to go toe-to-toe with these other crazy girls, she doesn't even need to because she has what every other psychotic character in this show is missing. Brains. As a master in war strategy and tactics, she can pull off operations without ever having to dirty her own fingers or sacrifice any of her men, which is what makes her and her group damn right unstoppable. And with all this mixed together, she is possibly the strongest female character I've seen in anime. Insert obligatory sexist kitchen joke here. She's able to maintain herself with an air of professionalism when doing business, but beneath that calm exterior she puts on, she loves violence just as much if not more than these other girls. I mean, it's been said that if she had the choice between having sex and going to war, then she would easily have chosen war, and you just have the gut feeling that she could just snap at any second, and if she does, then you definitely want to get the fuck out of there ASAP, because whether you live or die can be entirely decided on her whim.
No, it isn't enough. There are two things to remember when you're begging for your life. One is to try and entertain the person holding the gun to your head, and the other is to give that person a convincing reason why they shouldn't kill you. But you haven't managed to do either one of those things. So let's hear it!
So, in an anime filled with psychotic girls due to insert obligatory sexist PMS joke here, Balalaika stands out as the professional leader of Hotel Moscow that earns respect and whose love of violence is not dwarfed by anyone, while having an entire army at her disposal. Number 2.
I'm afraid. Oh God. Save me, Doctor. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Doctor!
I was supposed to die that night. You're the one who resurrected me, Doctor.
Johann Liebert from Monster. Kenzo Tenma is a genius neurosurgeon who chose to save the life of a young boy rather than the life of the city mayor, a decision which cost him his reputation and future as a doctor. Little does he know that this is in fact the least of his worries, as it soon dawns on him years later after a string of murders that in saving the boy's life, he has in fact resurrected a monster! Okay, I'm just gonna be honest here. I tried really hard to think up some jokes that would make this segment a bit funnier, but no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't. Johann was just too cool and too spine-chillingly scary that I couldn't even think up anything funny to say. So just a quick warning now, all this is just gonna be my serious opinion, but to be honest, if there's one character that deserves your undivided attention, it's Johann. Because if you think Light Yagami is the master of manipulation and deception, then Johann is the undisputed god. Let me just give you an example of what this guy can do. At an institution he was in, Johann led a revolt between the staff and the patients. While only using the power of his words and without lifting a finger, he managed to get 50 people to go mad and start killing each other as he just sat at the top like a god witnessing the massacre that was befalling around him until he was the only remaining survivor. This was when he was at the age of 10.
Do you know what he meant by that? I simply added a bit of fuel to the hatred born when people come together. It was easy. That's what he told me. Only 10 years old, and he said that. And he did it with almost no effort at all. He was able to make 50 people kill each other without even moving a finger.
As an adult, he's only grown smarter, more charismatic, and more manipulative. Children see him as his idols, serial killers think of him as a holy being, and other groups of people trust and worship him as if he's the next Hitler or freaking Antichrist. And yet, every single one of them dies. And the most frightening thing about this guy is how everything about him largely remains a mystery. Though we find out bits and pieces about his past, a lot is left to our own imagination. As a child, Johann was raised in an orphanage called 511 Kinderheim, a top secret research project with the intention of raising up the perfect emotionless killing machines by using behavior modifications and brainwashing techniques. Results for the different children of this experiment varied from memory loss to split personalities, but as for Johann, he couldn't have turned out more perfect. Though while this guy is chilling enough to give you nightmares, oh god, can he look cool while doing it. As the charismatic devil that he is, he can manipulate anyone he needs to with just the use of conversation. Superpowers? Nope. Magical notebook? Nope. Unlimited funds? Nope. Johann has such a strong grasp of manipulation that on multiple occasions he has literally driven people to commit suicide, whether they be powerful leaders, serial killers, or just normal civilians. All seemingly because it's just more fun to drive people to kill themselves. He knows exactly when and what to say to drive someone into a psychological corner as if it was his own art form. And no more is this obvious with his encounter with an alcoholic police officer, when after a few friendly drinks and some chatter, all it takes is a short verbal confrontation and one perfectly placed line to send him literally over the edge.
Well, Richard, how about a drink?
Throughout the series, Johann is more of a presence than anything else. We can just feel his hand at work manipulating everything behind the scenes as Tenma is chasing him, even though most of the time he's not even there. This builds him up like he's some sort of omnipotent god, and it just gets scarier since we can only guess at how he got this way. It was hinted at that Johann was the perfect killer even before entering the orphanage, making us question if he was somehow programmed this way or if he was just born evil, and if anything why his twin sister didn't turn out like him as well. And Okay. One joke.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Yes, being a twin, he can very creepily do a great impression of his twin sister right down to her voice. And honestly, while I can put him down for being a surprisingly great cross-dresser, I just can't, because unlike someone like Alucard, which is the really scary kind of creepy, this guy is most definitely the cool kind of creepy. The kind of guy that doesn't even need to do anything to terrify you. All it takes is just one brief look at that creepy smile of his and it'll send chills rushing down your spine. Because his looks, his reputation, and just the feeling that behind that calm, sophisticated front, there's just a terrifying monster lurking behind. And you can do nothing but speculate at the petrifying thoughts that could be swimming in his head, because there's nothing that is scarier than the unknown. It's been stated that his goal is to be the last person on Earth alive when the world ends, but in reality his true goal is, in my opinion, a lot cooler. He wants to commit what he calls the perfect suicide, killing himself without leaving a trace of physical evidence of his existence, save for those memories within Dr. Tenma that will forever haunt the nightmares of anyone who feels his ghostly presence around, as if he's the personification of pure evil. And if that's not a cool ass goal, I don't know what is. So as one of the greatest villains to ever grace the medium of anime and manga, Johan is the blonde devil who is the perfect monster that will forever haunt you in your nightmares. Now, just before I announce the number one person, I thought this would be a good time to list the honourable mentions from the series who just failed to make the list and recap the countdown so far. So let's start with the honourable mentions. Afro from Afro Samurai, a butt-kicking samurai voiced by Samuel L. Jackson that just failed to make it thanks to his lack of a personality. Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, Hajime Saito from Rurouni Kenshin, and Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho, all who are badasses and kick-asses in their own respective series, but unfortunately were basically the same characters and didn't do anything that made them stand out from your typical shonen anti-hero. Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, the coolest clown ever behind the Joker, but ultimately too creepy and weird to make the list. Roy Mustang from Format Alchemist, because I haven't seen Format Alchemist yet. I know, shut up. Kakashi from Naruto, cool, calm, quick-witted, but just didn't do enough to break into the top 20. Lucy from Elfen Lied, brutal, heartless, and badass, but also had an annoying, stupid Pokemon as her split personality. Lelouch from Code Geass, smart, masterful, but whose personality was a bit too inconsistent, while also on top of that having a slightly weird sister complex. And now a recap of the countdown so far. Number 20, Aizen Sosuke from Bleach, the unshakable, untouchable god that foresees everything. Number 19, Hei from Darker Than Black, Chinese electric Batman. What more can I say? Number 18, Arsene Lupin III from Lupin III. Those sideburns. Number 17, Light Yagami from Death Note. Everything just goes exactly as he planned it. Number 16, Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. Sleek, strong, sexy, and god. That ass. Number 15, Vash and Wolfwood from Trigun. The coolest duo in anime history. Number 14, Mugen from Samurai Champloo. Samurais and breakdancers, eat your heart out. Number 13, Shizuo Heivujima from Durararararararara. Solving anger management the only way he knows how. Violence. Number 12, Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. Don't bother putting up a fight because you are already dead. Number 11, Dio Brando from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Enough said. Number 10, Roronoa Zoro from One Piece. What happened? Nothing. Nothing at all. Number 9, Guts from Berserk, proving how badass normal humans could be since 1990. Number 8, Alucard from Hellsing, showing Twilight fans what real vampires should be like. Number 7, The Count from Gankutsuo, a devious gentleman and charisma personified. Number 6, Kamina from Gurren Lagann, just who the hell do you think he is? Number 5, Ikichi Onizuka from GTO, the greatest teacher the world has ever seen. Kinda. Number 4, Claire Stanfield from Baccano, a god in his own mind, and how can you blame him? Number 3, Battle Liger from Black Lagoon. As far as females goes, she is by far the scariest. Number 2, Johann Liebert from Monster, pure evil and the perfect monster. But out of all these characters, there can only be one, which can be crowned as the king of cool.